And you're in the midst of a tornado, huh?
You got Yeezy sandals?
Oh, I got Yeezys.
You got what are Yeezy sandals?
If I can find them, but I'm not paying $350 for some Yeezy sandals. I'll pay the $80 what they originally cost, $100.
What about the other ones that tie?
The shoes?
The new ones. You got those?
The new shoes or the new sandals?
The new shoes.
Yeah.
They all like fold in?
No, I ain't got those.
What are those?
I don't know. But I wear the 350s.
Are you
They're
talking
super
about the Crocs?
comfortable.
Nick?
I don't know what he's talking about. He said,
what are you talking about?
He said the ones
the
that
fish shoes?
He said the ones that
Yeah, they look like fish. They like
he talking about those the Croc material ones, the plastic ones.
Yeah, Heaven likes those.
Does she?
Yeah, but I ain't. I try the raffles, but
How much
I
are
very
they?
rarely win the raffle. Like $100.
Damn.
But $100 off if you win the raffle. If you don't win the raffle, then it automatically it's going up. That's the highest markup I've ever seen on a shoe. I'm saying as far as like on a consistent basis. So they sell these shoes for like $80 to $100 on Adidas.
But you can't get them.
Yeah, because all these bots order them first. So immediately the markup is like almost $200.
Dang.
Think about that. If you got a bot that can control and order, let's just say off every shoe drop, you get 20 pairs of shoes, all different sizes, and you make 200 off those 20 pairs of shoes, 20 each, 200 each.
Right.
I mean, what is that? How much money is that? $20,000.
How do they create a bot?
Is that $20,000?
Yeah,
man, we look good.
But how do they create a bot?
I mean, people create these bots. Programmers create these bots that know how to as soon as it drops. So think about this: when it comes to ordering, we're talking about shoes here. Like trying to Yeezys are like a sought after.
Are you gonna do the intro?
Yo, check it. Welcome back to Trust the Podcast. It's the Trust the Process podcast. Man, they caught me off guard. Bringing to you, we got Roberto Martin.
Yeah.
Our chief
special
analyst, computer analyst, diagnostic.
They call me Mr. Do It All.
He knows how to do everything.
He does it all,
Mr.
lighting it all. And we got the head honcho over here.
The Reverend.
The responsible one.
The Italian stallion.
The Italian stallion. Nicolaus Martin. And of course, yours truly, Mr. Irregular.
What up?
Glad to join you today. It's gonna be a short episode, but yeah, man, it's been a great week. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take the blame, guys. It's my fault why we are not streaming live at 10 a.m. It's my fault. I'll take that one. I didn't realize I had something planned. I had to attend I got to attend a leaders luncheon for the YMCA where a lot of the big
donors,
the big donors of Owensboro all gathered together and gave for the scholarship program for the YMCA. Did you guys know that the YMCA has been around for 178 years?
Really?
Wow.
178 years. Started in London in 1844.
How
did I remember that?
You got to think, we got the YMCA scholarship. Think about how many people have benefits.
I know.
We did.
What are you talking about? Whenever you go. Whenever you want to go to the Y.
Yeah, this is a different scholarship, though. This is a scholarship for college. There was one of these. Look, there was a girl, I thought, sent it to you guys in text. There was a girl there that got 2 associate degrees before she graduated high school.
Wow.
2 associate degrees.
Hey, that's how they do it now. When they graduate with an associate.
She got 2.
Wow. She was smart.
By the age of 20, she could almost be en route for her master's and heading to her doctorate.
Wow.
By the age of 20, for sure, before the age of 25, she's going to be a doctor for sure.
School these days is a game changer because they set up everything for you to succeed fast.
Schools?
Yeah,
some schools are better. Some schools are better.
middle. They set up some different stuff for schools nowadays.
Innovation academies.
Yeah, they do a lot of hands-on.
They got the degree programs.
Look, Innovation Academy. Shout out to OIA and Innovation Academy. I'm telling you, once your kids hit middle school, you need to go ahead and get them signed up. You need to go ahead and it's next level. Well, what it is they just realized that kids don't learn the traditional way anymore, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if that was around when we was younger, middle school to high school.
Oh, it would have been on the pocket.
So what it is they realized that kids don't reciprocate knowledge from somebody just getting up there talking to them.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So they're more based on a hands-on mentality and, creating. You know what I'm saying? They got a huge robotics program, a nursing program, a human,
resource,
not human resource,
like
nursing, like a medical,
medical
degree.
Field.
Yeah. And so by the time you graduate, you already got your associates.
You see how I'm saying? It's different now.
Oh,
I was like, where was that at when I was? I mean, I wouldn't have.
I mean, it gives you a bit. So for the kids like us, where we got bored very fast.
Because what we always say, what are we going to use this for, right?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we don't use too much stuff from school. I mean, outside of basic, you know what I'm saying, like English, writing, basic math.
Oh, I learned more in the streets than I learned in school.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's my problem, and I always ask Jonathan this, even with Bella. Like, why did schools consider it bad for you to look up an answer, right? Like, why is it bad that I can? So
why is it bad that you have to memorize something that you can't?
No, what Nick is saying is like what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Yeah, because you're not learning.
But the world has changed.
What Nick is saying is it's the same thing if I go on Google and get the answer as if I was to sit here and figure it out on my own. It's still getting the answer, right?
Yeah, I think school, but you have to look at it too.
Think they need to modernize
the culture? Yeah, they do need to modernize school. The culture of school has changed over the years. But they never had. But at the end of the day, they never had access to the fingertips.
They didn't upgrade.
There's certain things that you had to do to go find it. Like even in the 2000 before cell phones, like. There's still if you need to find certain answers.
You had to learn your encyclopedia.
You have to learn the encyclopedia. You got to learn different books. You got to do research. That's what they want you to do, but you're still doing research.
You had the knowledge.
How do you think that I found out about when the YMCA was open? Like I asked anybody, and I said, "Does anybody in here know how long the YMCA has been operating?" And nobody out of 200 people could give me the answer.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? But it just took me doing a Google search of the history of the YMCA. And now that's a piece of knowledge that I'm gonna have forever.
Yeah,
right?
But what I'm saying, so finding out the answer is not the same as being able to apply it to life, right? Just because you can Google an answer doesn't mean that you can take that and it's applicable.
Applicable, yeah. But if your heart is in the right place, then yes, you're gonna take that and apply that to life.
Like sometimes it's like, why do I need to? And me and John talked about this last year with Bella's homework, right? I'm like, is it smarter to sit down and rack your brain for an hour, or is it smarter to
just to Google it?
Google what is the scientific equation of this?
Yeah,
and it gives you the answer.
So what if you said, what if you said, Bella, I want you to clean your room? Okay?
Yeah.
And Bella had a friend staying with her, and Bella paid her friend $5 to clean her room.
Heck of a leader.
I've been like, you're smart.
Heck of a leader. I mean, heck of a leader. I mean, think about it though. Like. That's leadership right there.
All right, let's say
she had to tell him, "Hey, look, this goes here."
What if I gave Bella $10 to clean her room, right?
Yeah.
But she paid her friend $5 and kept $5.
I mean, that's genius. Look, I'm saying, knowing what we know now and what we've been exposed to, that's a genius.
I would like for a teacher to tell me that though. I've thought about that. Like, why is it considered bad? Like, why can't I take a laptop to school?
Are we talking to Mike?
Why can't I take a laptop to school and figure out the answer, right?
There we go.
Like, what is wrong with that?
Yeah.
Because there never will be a
situation.
They
have laptops now. They give the kids laptops.
I know, but it's like considered not good to, like
still research your do research like directly.
Well, and also I think that the way
what does a test signify? That you
growth,
retained information, right?
Yeah, growth.
But a lot of the information is like, what do I need to retain it for?
If I have a book that tells me all the directions or whatever I need to know, that's right. I'm saying, or your phone, right there in front of your face.
The only thing they can tell you is, well, what if you never had your phone?
I'm gonna tell. All right, let's be practical then.
It's very rare that if I just know the answer, I'm not going to retain that and be able to apply that in a real life situation just because I googled the answer.
Like what?
Anything. Like why?
You know how many times I've been able to fix something by googling it?
That's what I was about to say. Do you know like?
Are you YouTubing it?
I know actual ASE certified mechanics, and when there's certain things that they can't figure out, guess how they figure it out?
Yeah, they Google it.
So they used to go to a book, right?
Yeah.
Like they used to probably have a book that they would everybody would go to.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's wrong.
Now we have the book times the million.
Yeah. I'm not saying that's wrong. I think that is in some case a genius, but I just think that there's a fine balance.
I mean, I know the fine balance is if you're a doctor, there's certain procedure, or a surgeon, there's certain things that you need to know.
Yeah, like, hey, I ain't never done
You
this
ain't got
brain
time to
procedure.
Google. You ain't got time to Google.
But I can
like,
come
what
out here and
happens-
tell you,
Yeah.
what I'm going to do in this surgery. I have the answer right here, but that doesn't mean that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So there's an equal balance of it all.
Absolutely.
But I ain't knocking it. That's a nice hustle.
We argued about that last year. Like, why is that wrong?
Yeah.
That she just wants to look up the answer.
I mean,
Because everybody wants to take the easier way out.
I mean, but why spend an hour racking your brain when you could literally find the
well, I think,
answer in
and
10
what Rob's
seconds?
saying, I mean, it's a process there. There's a process and there's something to be learned.
Yeah, like you
in
can't
these
always just do
But
that.
have schools updated, right?
Well, I mean, I think they should. The reason why I think they should is because
That's like saying, what's the use of school in general when you have Google and you can just Google the answer to anything?
Hey, I was talking to a friend the other day. Amish people take their kids out of school at like 14
Yeah.
because they believe like, hey, we only need the basic stuff.
yeah,
English, probably a little bit of math, and then you're ready for the workforce.
Yeah.
Because you got to think from 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th. I'm not saying we didn't learn anything. What did you learn in 10th grade and 11th grade that you use today?
It's just compounded. It's just compounded on what they started from. So from the 6th to the 12th grade, I just think that you go on this journey of, you start with the basics and you build from there.
Like what?
The school system is funded on John D. Rockefeller. That's who started the whole school system, right? Like this. Look it up.
I think it was so parents could work too, right?
It's basically to doctrinate the kids.
You know what I thought about? Sorry, go ahead. All right, Rockefeller, go ahead.
To indoctrinate the kids to believe the agenda that they believe.
And I love
off one man, off one man's opinions and beliefs. They basically created this system that's in the school system now. So
really,
they decided to look it up. They decided to be able to who gives what and what information is to be fed to these kids.
Like teachers are awesome, right? Like I don't want a teacher to be watching and be like, man, y'all are dogging the school system. But also at the same time, I think we need to rethink the school system. Like 12th grade, how many days did you go to school, Jim?
I don't even remember, probably 30. But no, but I was getting somewhere. So the school system was meant to pull the kids away from the family. Think about that. The school system was meant to pull the kids away from their family.
I always heard it was meant.
Really.
I heard it was commit for the workforce.
Yeah, it is for the workforce.
They got you trained to be a worker.
Exactly, to work for them to make them money and their family money.
So you was used to the
Rockefeller.
But think about it.
You was used to that schedule.
Yeah.
Right?
So, but think about it. A lot of the people, how did they make their living? They did family things together. They made family farming, things like that. A lot of times the culture back then, you did exactly what your parents were doing, right?
Yeah.
So disrupting the family. That's what you do. You pull the kids away. We teach them what we want to teach them and move them in the direction we want them to go, and not what basically the parents or in a sense, that's basically what the whole purpose of the actual story.
So like
they had ulterior
motives.
They 100%.
To me, there's like 5 areas. Like you're going to grow up and become like it's either you're going to be in farming, you're going to be in business, you're going to be like in the workforce, or you're going to be in like the health. School should be like specific to those areas, right? Like we're training you to go into these fields, right?
Yeah.
But it's so generalized, like everybody just learns everything that you just
I do believe that it does need a revamping as far as identifying like strong suits, right?
Yeah, like Rob, what are Rob's skills? How can we hone those skills? Because you can start seeing stuff at like probably 12, 13 years old, right?
Yeah.
Like this is what he looks like. This is
Wikipedia. It says Rockefeller poured a significant amount of investment into the education system. He created the General Education Board at the ultimate cost of $129 million and provided major funding for schools across the nation and was very influential in shaping the school system.
Wow.
So
that's new news to me. I like that.
Think about how crazy that is. So therefore, they built a system that benefited them. It wasn't to benefit the kids and benefit everybody else.
Yeah.
It was basically to benefit them so they could have people to fill their, like Nick said, fill their factories, work for them. Not the whole system of the school system is not to educate the kids. It's to put them in a mold.
Just like you said, like why do kids sit at a desk all day?
Yeah.
Like it was to, hey, you obey these orders, you obey. because we all know, like, nobody learns sitting at a desk, right?
Yeah.
For 8 hours. Like you said, but the school system is improving, and they figured out, like, some people learn hands-on.
Right.
Some people learn with different kind of methods.
Yeah.
Like, let's start gearing towards those ways instead of sitting at a desk.
I would think
period after period.
I think that they do need to integrate a lot more technology into school.
And nap time.
At school?
Yeah, man.
Hey, I'm just saying, you can only learn so much.
Look, if they gave you an hour to take a nap, think about how much creativity you'd have if you had an hour where you was able
You can only learn
to get
so
away.
much.
So here's what I was going to say. Whenever you started talking about that, I rode past a couple schools yesterday, and they were empty. And I'm like, man, why are these schools sitting empty? Like, how hard would it be? Public schools, right, or county schools or whatever, if it's not like a Christian school, like a private school, how hard would it be to start a school, right, and to implement certain things for the time that we're in?
See,
right?
the hard part is you can't, like, why couldn't you just start a school, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's they control
They have a system.
They have a system.
They have a system that
They have the guidelines.
you are to abide by.
Testing. You got to do.
Yeah, but I believe that if we really put our efforts into, look, this is because a parent can decide whether or not where they want to send their kid to.
Yeah, where they want to, but the kids, I want to say they have to go to school at a certain point, until a certain point, till 16, or you're gonna go. Think about it.
Yeah, I'm not
if
saying
you don't
not
send
go
your
to
kid.
school.
Think about how big of a trap. I mean, even more so, like that you have to send your kid to school or you'll go to jail.
Yeah, if I didn't want to, that should be my right.
That's my thing.
You know what I mean?
That's my thing. Like, what does a test show?
My dad, if he could have done it to us, he would have kept us working all the time. Hey, he would have been at Applebee's all day.
Does a test really show if you'll be successful or not? And the answer is no. It just says he didn't retain this information that I gave him
At this moment.
And for majority of us, I got to a certain age, like, what am I ever going to need?
Yeah, but it does check the gauge, right?
Like what?
It is. I mean, it tests to see where you're at that time
In that field, right?
Yeah. So, like, if you're a HVAC technician, you want to take certain tests.
Oh yeah.
After the first year, you're going to take this test to see if you have retained this knowledge.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm not even talking about book knowledge. I'm talking about in the field knowledge.
That's good.
Right. So we're just checking to see where we're at. So that's why a test is.
You agree. Somebody could pass every book test in the HVAC, but put them in the field, and it's like a whole new world, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, put them against somebody that's just been out there doing it, and they're gonna make them look crazy, right?
I'd rather have somebody who's
been in the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
hey, you gotta think one of those mechanics that don't know, like, all the
all the correct terminology
and the codes. They just know, like,
if I look at it, no, they can hear it when you go to crank the car.
Oh yeah, look,
They
I
know
seen
what
a
it
dude.
is.
Look, this is when I knew it was
Some
real.
people are special.
This dude, he was buying a car from me, and we were just going over the car and about the motor and all that stuff. And why did he pull out a thesoscope? How you say it?
A thesoscope.
A thesoscope.
Yeah. But that the doctors use.
Yeah, and put it on the motor.
Yeah, they know how to hear it.
And I'm like, it's so technical. Like he's like, I don't need. I was like, did you bring your computer to see? He's like, all I need to do is just hear it.
And they know all the tricks that a book can never teach you. Right?
Yeah, or even a cheat, like being able to take a machine to see the codes that whatever's thrown.
Yeah,
So yeah, man, that's crazy.
Even like, I was talking to a friend about this, like counseling. Would you rather sit across from somebody who went to school?
Man, that's it.
Or someone who had lived it and experienced what you've been through?
So that's what I'm saying.
And
How
both
hard?
are good, right?
Yeah, but most people, I would say, would recommend a counselor who has been where they're currently at.
Yeah.
As opposed to going to school. So you do have to have both, just like a preacher, right?
I get mad because
some people say that a preacher don't need to go to school, don't need a degrey, because if you're called by God, then
by God,
he said that like
dang, Reverend, by God.
He said that like
hey,
if you're called by
God,
then they believe that you don't need to get a degree.
Yeah,
right.
Why did you get a preacher?
I don't know what happened.
So why'd you get a degree?
Rob's got it in me.
No, I think once you do it, you should always further your education in it, right?
But that shouldn't be the
always
baseline.
say remain teachable, right?
Like you do roofing.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go to school, then do roofing. You do roofing, and then you improve on your education in that field.
Right. Yeah. Always gaining knowledge.
Yeah. So that's what I believe. Like, you specialize in something, right?
Yeah.
And then grow into that.
Hey, I want to see.
Which is what Jude probably talked about in his leadership talk, right?
Yeah, we talked about leadership, and I mean, it kind of still, carries over to what we're talking about today. But it's crazy because the leadership of the United States was already what's the word I'm looking for? It was already basically tainted from the get-go. You know what I mean? They teach us, like, when we're in school and we're learning about different cultures and we're learning about the cultures here, like, our country is based on basically on slavery and war. When it comes to other countries, like, why are my thing is why are we shedding light on the things that really at the end of the day, I don't want to say this wrong, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But listen, I don't care about Christopher Columbus. Teach me how to pay bills. Teach me responsibility on like how a man is supposed to carry himself.
Did you see what Jalen Rose said about Mount Rushmore?
What?
He says, let's stop glorifying it. These men stole the land from the Indians and killed them all and built a monument on top of it.
Built a monument.
Wow.
Like, so I'm saying.
But what do you always hear on the things get the Pilgrims and the Indians stay together?
That's what I'm talking about. Why are we worried about that? Why are we focused on that?
Yeah, I would say it does. We do need a revamping.
Right? They need to revamp it because again, it was tainted before we even started it. Again, the principles. I mean, think about it. Back in that time, John D. Rockefeller. I mean, the school system had to be in the 1800s.
Yeah, the Rockefeller was what? A businessman?
He was a financial guru, basically. Like he's still one of the richest men in the world. Like their family, the Rockefellers. They say that they're the ones that like lead the world, not lead the world, but run the world.
Oh yeah,
right. Those families. There's like 3 families that basically make the world go round.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in a worldly sense, not godly sense, right? So, but my thing is why are we focused on all that? Why aren't y'all teaching us and equipping us how to live life daily? What's that have to do with when the boat sailed over here in the Civil War and the Cold War?
We don't even know if it's true or not. Right?
We don't even know if it's true. We don't know what's been made up and what
as you get older, you realize, like, man, how did I learn that in school my whole life? And it wasn't even actually what happened.
And Christopher Columbus wasn't even the person that really found the Americas. It was somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. So it's all tainted before we even get a chance to even know what it is. So we're raising our kids on a belief system that is totally tainted, and it's all, I mean, majority of it is just misinformation.
Yeah. It's somebody else's agenda.
It's somebody else's agenda being pushed down. So like, I think it's that's why the culture is the way it is now. While we're still having, I mean, racism exists right now in 2022, and we're having battles and we're dealing with, you know, the stuff with the LGBTQ community and just stuff all around the world is just a what's the word?
Mirage.
Well, think about.
I mean, I say a mirage, but it's a fact of what we did this to ourselves.
Yeah.
We did this. It's. I mean, at the end of the day. So
even
how do we
growing
change
up,
it?
like, think about slavery and segregation. It was presented as in like that was thousands of years ago. Like, right? Like that's ancient history, but in reality, it wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah, 100 years.
Think about this though. Let's talk about this. And I'm sure we did to an extent, but you know we're mixed families. All of us are mixed families. But think about like how many Black leaders we focused on compared to how many white leaders we focused on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a handful of black influential people that the school system talks about, right? Yeah. But when it comes to Martin Luther King's one,
that's about it.
Harriet Tubman, Nate Turner,
Rosa
Parks. He used to write books, I believe.
Nat Turner.
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks. I mean, it's still, you know, Nate, it's the same thing.
Nate Turner's a basketball player.
That's about it.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, and I'm not trying to cause division. I'm just saying.
But here's what you're saying.
That's real.
When you don't see somebody who looks like you being successful and leading the way.
How are we supposed to see they were successful?
Well,
how are we supposed to have a vision?
Well, and think about the books that the school system has always used, right? Not just the school system, who created those from their point of view, right?
That's
from their lens. So it was always a biased thing, right?
Yeah.
So why do you think minority kids only thought they could be basketball players or NFL players? Because they never seen anybody in those books or in that, you know, field looking like them.
You know what the school system didn't talk about? And listen, I'm not making this a white or black thing. I'm talking about history here. And we're talking about stuff that's been left out. You know, I didn't find out about the Black Wall Street until 2021.
Yeah, so things like
that. Yeah, it's not talked about.
But they had their whole banking system.
Yeah, it's not talked about.
And the whole town was overrun by basically the Klan and burned the whole city down.
Yeah.
He killed like 40 people.
Because it goes against the system.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, we wasn't taught that at school. We didn't know that. I didn't know that African Americans had their own banking system, their own money, and it was operational. And it was, listen, it was so successful that it put fear in evereverybody else because they were starting to rise.
Yeah.
So think about, when we talk about fair, we talk about getting loans, and we talk about all this stuff, and just think about how it feels, how we feel defeated. And I'm speaking for myself because I know that, you know, and I hate that we're going this direction, but it is what it is. But that I've been turned away because I've been turned away from certain things in life because of my skin color.
Well, and you think about like Thomas Jefferson had slaves, right?
Yeah.
And he had kids. He had kids by like a 14-year-old slave.
Yeah.
Right. And it was all hidden and it was all like hush, right? But like you never hear about his kids, right? Like you never hear about the slave that he had kids with.
Absolutely.
It was because she was young, but you always hear the Thomas Jefferson and the Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
But you never hear like, man, this was a slave owner.
Yeah, you don't hear the whole truth.
Yeah, you don't hear the whole truth. You hear it from a skewed point of view. And I think that's why we have to be careful and always teaching our kids all sides of it, right? It comes down to parent responsibility. And hey, you may learn this at school and we are going to get you through school, but here's the whole truth. And, you know, here's what I really want you to learn. And the problem with the school system is like, I'm not saying the school system, but like they have the technology now. Back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, you just had to take what they taught you.
Excuse.
You just had to take what they taught you. Like, all right, that's facts.
Yeah.
But now it's we know some of that stuff ain't facts, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
and a lot of people, but also you have to take it as a person and find out yourself what's true and what ain't.
Hey, but I heard this today, and this was crazy. I heard this from that Jordan Peterson guy. Like, how did that stuff become how did slavery become a normalized thing? Like, how did he was talking about how the Nazis, right? How did that become normal to where you had millions of Jews going to concentration camps, slavery? Like, how did slavery ships become a normal part of life? Like, where was the people at that just stood against it and was like, heck no, we won't ever go for that.
Yeah, because most people sit by and say, look, as long as they ain't taking me, look, it ain't got nothing to do with me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? As long as they ain't affecting me or my family, and that's the problem, like with good and evil. That's really what it comes down to. When you really get down to it, it's a battle of good and evil.
Yeah.
And when good doesn't stand up to evil, then evil's going to prevail.
I'm thinking like the slavery though. I'm thinking like, who just accepted that as normal? Like owning another human being
and making them live in certain conditions.
Yeah,
hitting them with whips. Like I mean, it's crazy because, and I thank God that He gave me a heart to not be bitter, because I mean I've seen people of African American descent like bitter because of slavery, right? And that's held them back from making it to another level in life because they have this bitterness in their heart and they won't do certain things and take on certain opportunities because. Or they're stuck in a pit because they're saying, "Oh, it's because of X, Y, and Z."
Yeah, basically
putting it on another person or another race because of the situations that they're in. But at the end of the day, we got to own up to it. Like, I'm not bitter towards it. My thing is how can we do better?
Yeah,
how can we
start our own?
How can we start our own?
That's what I was saying about the school system. Like, how hard would it be if the conviction is that strong? How hard would it be to start your own school?
Yeah,
right.
Kanye did. They called him crazy.
Everybody who does something that goes against the system is called crazy.
Yeah, that goes against the system is crazy.
They call Elon crazy. You know what I'm saying, for wanting to go to Mars. They called the Wright brothers crazy. You know what I'm saying. They called Jew crazy.
Julius Maddox crazy.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Something that's unthinkable, right? When people strive and people talk that language, you are looked at as if you're insane.
Yeah, because it doesn't fit their agenda.
That's what it is. You go against the system, and that's what I'm saying. So when people tried to implement like Black Wall Street, it went against the system that they had set up. Yeah. This ain't how it's supposed to be. Y'all ain't supposed to go outside of us.
Yeah.
But when you know that knowledge and you have that information to be able to do those type of things, you should implement them.
It blew my mind. Like, I had to stop watching the documentary because I was getting angry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, how did I not know this? Mm-hmm. How did we not get to experience this piece of history?
Yeah.
And I'm for all races. I love all races, man. I mean, I don't put any, I don't put myself or my race above any other races, and I don't look at it vice versa. But that one hit deep, bro. It was troubling to see that. Like, one thing is, we never learned about it in school.
Well, and if we can learn the real history, we can grow from it, right?
Yeah.
But when you only learn from this side or that side,
or you learn from
how do we eventually come together?
Well, what started it was, listen, all right, I love TikTok, right? But I'm scrolling across TikTok, and there's this dude that always stands up against, like, about Black people advancing in life, not letting anything hold you back, because it stops a lot of people, right?
Right.
Because they're like, well, it's because of this person or because of this reason why I can't. So he has a video where he's walking into a bank, and he has on a wife beater and shorts.
Yeah.
And he's walking into this bank, and guess what he says? This is my bank. I own this bank. And he walks into like a regular Chase bank with his wife beater on and his keys. He had the wife beater on just to show, like, it doesn't matter what you look like, what you come from, it's possible to achieve whatever you want.
Oh, yeah.
This guy owns a Chase bank. He's in there at the ATM with his keys and a wife beater on, which I'm not saying, again, he's outside the box.
Right.
Tattoos all over his face, but he's saying, like, look, whatever you set your mind to, if you want to do it, you could do it, no matter your color, no matter where you come from. Like, and he's talking, his audience is, every color, But I just seen it, I'm like, it made me think, like, why ain't that me? Why ain't that us?
Yeah.
We can have our own, but it took me seeing it, right?
Yeah.
So when we're growing up in school, we don't see a lot of successful Black, at least in Owensboro, Kentucky. Like, you don't see that a lot, right? Which I know Keith Wells, Keith Wells has probably been one of the biggest influences I say in my life, as far as giving me something to visualize and say, hey, look, I want to be like him.
Keith Wells.
Keith Wells. He's probably one of the strongest older men around here.
Yeah.
But he's involved in a lot of stuff. He's one of them guys that don't brag about it, don't talk about it. He's about it. He's on all the boards. And man, he's a great dad. He's a great dude, but he's a leader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what.
And I think that's what
more of, right?
Or is that what we're called to do?
That's what we're called to do, 100%.
Yeah, we're in our mid-30s. Like, it's time for us. We got to be that for these younger kids that are coming up. And that's what I'm saying. So whenever you identify the problem, we can sit here and talk all day about how many problems there are. Yeah. Right? Our job is to form the solution and implement it.
So what's the fix? Let's give them a resolution.
Man, even if it's look, you don't agree with how things go, well, let's sit down with people and figure out how we can all come up with a solution.
And actually do it.
That's what I'm saying. So even if the school system has been implemented for how long? I mean,
like we said, in the 1800s.
So that's going to be hard to reverse that in just a couple years, right? But you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So whether it be starting an after school program, whether it be you're meeting with a group of kids on the weekend,
or whether it means you're sharing this information with your own kids, you're pointing to your kids,
right? Having the conversation here,
educating yourself so you can educate your kids about it.
Well, right. I think this is a big one too. Like, and choosing who you I wouldn't say idolize, but choosing who we make a leader in our community, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Why do our kids not hear about Dr. Ben Carson, right? You know him? He was a Black. He ran for president, right?
Do you know him?
He was.
I've heard of him.
So Ben Carson, he was the top.
He's a doctor,
neurosurgeon in the whole world.
Yeah, they had a movie about him.
Yeah,
he called Gifted Hands.
Yeah,
Cuba Gooding Jr. played it.
He was the first one that split twins that were born together. He was able to separate them, and he was the first one to do that. But it's like, why don't we hear more about him, right?
Yeah. Hey guys, if you haven't seen Gifted Hands, you need to go watch that movie.
So I think it starts at home with our children, right? Like showing them all different kinds of life, all different kinds of ways, and then letting them come, and it, like Ben Carson, when that started, his mom made him read a book every week and write a report about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But before that, he was considered mentally challenged. And she said, I won't accept that. You are to read a book every week. And
that's what it is. So going against the system.
Week.
And he became the top neurosurgeon in the world.
Right. Man. So going against the system, right? Because it's easy. And I get it. Like single moms, single parents, or, people who struggle just to get by. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to go against the system when all you're trying to do is pay your bills.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Much less focus on, at least your kids are going to school. That's what a lot of people do. It's, man, my kids are going to school. Why change something up? I'm concentrating on barely getting by.
I went through a season where it was like, I'm not gonna say it was a burden to spend time with my kids, but it was just a lot, And one thing about football season, and I'm grateful,
man,
like I'm spending all this time with my kids.
It does something to you,
and I'm like, how in the heck did I not? Am I not appreciate? I wasn't appreciating those moments. I guess because we're all stay-at-home family and we're always together.
Yeah.
But watching my kids play from Grayson to Mila, like Grayson, Izzy, and Mila, and seeing them excel in something that they've never done before. Like it literally, like we had a breakthrough. Like we had a family breakthrough.
That's
like,
because it does something. Those moments that when they see you watching them, it does something to a kid.
What hit me was, so at the end of the game, of course, at the end of practice, of course, they're running, right?
Yeah.
And
they don't like that part of it.
No, they don't. Yeah, they like the first round.
Yeah.
Until them side cramps hit, right? So I'm seeing Mila, and she's like number 2, right? She's running.
Yeah.
And they're running fast. They're basically racing.
Yeah.
And she's the second. Tucker's first, Mila's second.
Yeah.
And she goes down and back, right? And they're running about a 40 yards down, 40 yards back. And the second wind came up and she sprinted all the way down.
Yeah.
And she started jogging back. And
it
hit her.
Yeah.
But you know what all it took? Come on, don't quit on me. Don't quit on me now. When I said that, it's like she hit another win, bro. Man. She hit another win. I didn't have that dad in my corner to say, hey, look, come on, let's go. Don't quit on me. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Like, and that's as parents, whether you're a single parent or whether you're just busy, you have to find time to allocate for your kids. I don't care if it's making one practice a week. You have to figure, or just spending time with your kids outside throwing a football or baseball. You have to build that relationship with your kids, because if you continue to say, oh, well, maybe next time. I'm going to tell you. Before you know it, your next times are going to be gone, and that window's going to be gone.
Yeah. What's even greater than even the practice itself, I would say, is the ride home after practices.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you can break it all down. Hey, I seen what you was doing. I'm proud that you didn't stop.
Yeah.
I seen how you fought. You know what I mean? Even like kids that like play the line, because, they can get mixed in, right? They're not maybe a star player. But when you see your kid doing their job, you know what I'm saying, in growth and steadily developing, man, it does something to you, and they should be applauded for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you held your block.
I definitely cried both times I've seen them.
Well,
all of them.
Yeah.
And I think as parents, like, we have to embrace the weirdness. Like for me and Bella, I always, before school, I always say, hey, you're a world changer, right?
I know that's right.
Man, affirmation.
Like I always tell her, every day we pray in the car, and I'll say, hey, you're a world changer.
He makes me want to step up my dad.
No, but she don't like it.
She's like, where you got that from.
She's like, quit being weird, right?
Yeah.
She's like, quit being weird.
What do we talk about for as far as a leader?
But one day she'll say, man, like my dad always told me I was a world changer, right?
Yeah.
So now, like me and Christopher pray, every night. And I always say, like, God, keep him healthy and let him grow up to be a world changer, right? So at 2 years old, I want that to become normal.
Already in his mind. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's what I'm saying, though. That's the main thing that I see is consistency. You're not doing nothing special, like crazy special, or saying some magical words. You're just being consistent until eventually, at some point, they're going to believe in it.
Yeah.
They're going to see it.
Why not you? And surrounding your kids with those people that, like, if I would hate to have somebody, like, I wonder how the old days people would come around, like how you said, Mila and them playing football. Oh, they ain't supposed to do that. Instead of being like, man, go be the best football player you can be.
Yeah.
I ain't hearing nothing. Like, I know how I was growing up, and without that positive enforcement coming from your parents.
It makes you feel like you can run through a cage, right?
Oh, when I started clapping and saying, don't quit on me, dog, she was running faster than she was before.
Yeah.
She got that new burst.
Like, and all it took is dad being there.
That's it.
Dad being there and being active.
Not on your phone, being present.
Not on my phone, being present. Like,
that's another thing. We talked about it the other day at group. It's like, there's so many dads that may be present, but they ain't present.
Yeah.
Right. You're there, but you're not there.
Absolutely.
You're checked out mentally.
It's almost worse. It's almost worse.
Emotionally.
Emotionally, with your dad or your parent being there but not there.
Oh, that hurts.
You know what I mean? Because you're reminded of it every day.
They try to live through their kid, right?
Yeah.
So it's they get joy through their kid, and then they just push them to be something they're not.
Yeah.
Instead of embracing who they are and cheerleading them,
finding their strong suit.
Like Bella playing softball. Like, hey, why can't you hit a home run? I seen that girl hit a home run.
Hey, I'm seeing it now. LeBron James is paving the way. I mean, he's doing his thing.
For his family.
The LaMelo brothers, like Like there's something about consistency.
Just
with
like that dad, they hated that dad, right?
I guarantee you.
Oh, the balls.
Ball.
What'd I say?
And
The
LeBron.
LaMelo brothers.
The
Yeah.
LaMelo, yeah,
And
the
LeBron.
boss.
LeBron's both of his kids about to
What'd
be
I
in the NBA.
You said the LaMelo brothers.
What's his
LaMelo
kid's
brothers.
name? Ronnie and what else? Ronnie and Bryce.
I don't know, but
Yeah,
I just
the
know.
other
Look, they're studs. And
All three of them was dunking.
Hey, the other one was like, look, I'm tired of Bronny getting all the attention.
look, I'm coming.
Yeah.
He's humble about it.
He had them in training like they was in the NBA
But
already.
the dad, look. So think about that. I know he has a lot of money and he can do all that, but think
We're
about
about to wrap up.
I got to go.
think
We're about
about
to wrap up.
I got to be there about 3.
what time is it?
2:51.
Man, sorry for
You're such a good
sorry for
dad.
the embarrassing stuff that we
You're
do.
such a good dad.
Hey, Rob thinks.
We're about to wrap up.
Hey, school. I can't tell the school. My brother said we was about to wrap up.
Hey guys, we appreciate you guys tuning
Yeah.
in. Nick's leaving early, but
No, not
wow.
early.
application is
Hey, I ain't leaving early. We shall start at 10.
application. I guess from our talk today is parents try to spend as much time as you can with your kids because there's gonna come a day, and I catch myself doing this. Like I can't wait until my kids are out of here. I can't wait till they graduate high school. I can't wait till they go back to school. And we talked about this last week a little bit, but there's gonna come a point in time where I can't wait. That
You ain't
time's
gonna get
gonna
that
come,
back.
and you can't get that back. And the lady was basically saying that, and she's like, now I wish I had those in those seasons that I spent more time focusing on them and lifting them up instead of being negative and saying, those things like she was being ungrateful for the opportunity that lied there. So, guys, appreciate those moments. And I'm working through this. We're all working through this.
Yeah.
Like we're all
we
working
ain't never
hard.
done
Yeah,
this.
we ain't never done
seen
this. We ain't never seen it lived out. We're just doing the best we can. But like again, that shouldn't deter you or stop you from doing it now. If you haven't done it in the past, well, start today.
Yeah. Get with somebody who you see doing it, man, and ask them. Just because of your current situation just because of something may be your current situation doesn't mean that you can't grow and change and evolve into what you need to be.
A guy was telling me like I was talking to a homeowner the other day on a job that we're on, and I said you've been married for 60 years, successful marriage, kids are great.
Yeah.
Like, what was the key? Like, you have any advice for me?
Yeah.
And, most people will say, basically listen to your wife, if she has a problem, basically say yes to everything, basically to your wife. That's the old fashioned, cheesy answer.
Behind every good man,
there's an even better woman. Yeah. So that in that sense, but, I think in that aspect, like people don't give God enough credit. Like it's all Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't anything my wife is doing or I'm doing, or it's all Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus.
It's just a byproduct. It's a byproduct.
I understand that, but he went there. He went directly there. He didn't say, "Oh, listening to my wife," or "Oh, this," or he said the only reason why I've had success in my life is because of Jesus. That's it. There's no other reason, no other excuse. It's all Jesus. And I just found it different and odd because that's not an answer I'm used to hearing.
Yeah, you was expecting something different.
Yeah, I was expecting like some steps or some affirmations or whatever the case is. But no, he pointed directly to Jesus, and really, guys, that's all we need. We need Jesus. And if you're having trouble getting there, just pray about it. And if you want something, you're gonna reach out and you're
that's
gonna,
the thing. Yeah. Because you can pray about it all day. But look, I would say, look, if you have a question about something or you're questioning, how do I get there? Man, reach out and ask somebody who you see doing it. Absolutely. Right? I mean, because prayer is good, don't get me wrong. But somebody that was the biggest thing for me in my season when Jew was like, look, you just got to go through it. I mean, I was praying, but you asking me I'm just sitting here waiting for an answer. I need some applicable steps.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? And I get what you're saying. Because some people just have to go through it to experience what you mean when you say you just got to go through it.
But it's just like being a leader. There's no blueprint. Like everybody leads in certain ways. Like, so when it comes to your own transformation and finding out who you are, it's not going to be the same as somebody else's.
Yeah, it's not
the only thing
cutter.
that matters is that you're willing to have an open heart to change and do something different than what you're used to doing.
But there are certain characteristics that all leaders are going to possess, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's not going to be exactly the same, but most leaders possess certain qualities that other people do not.
Simple. We talked about this earlier today. Consistency, discipline, and the ability to be able to handle when somebody's critiquing you. When you follow those 3 steps, those simple, easy steps, like you're going to create something beautiful. Now, is it going to change tomorrow? No,
not at all.
But it's all the innocuous things that you do in your life that lead up to that. And that's what being disciplined is. Whenever you don't feel like doing those things, that you do them anyway.
Oh, yeah.
When it's not comfortable, that you do it anyway. And in those moments, that's when we basically manifest those things that God is leading us, or that He's given us. He can give you something, but a lot of times, I'm not gonna say a lot of times, but sometimes we're not ready to receive it.
That's it.
It's right there in front of us, but we're not ready to receive it. Why are we not ready to receive it? Well, probably because we haven't been consistent. We haven't been obedient. We haven't been doing certain things, those characteristics that you're talking about. We haven't been consistent in those. And in some point, or some weird, twisted thought process, we still think we somewhat have it halfway together, and that's not the case. So the ability to be able to take reproof and to change and look at situations at a different approach in somebody else's lenses instead of your own, because our perception sometimes is already tainted, because of what we've experienced or believed or what we've heard.
We think we got it all figured out.
Exactly. So a leader is able to accept that when somebody says, "Hey, look, you're wrong, and this is going on," that you step back and take a look at it.
Self-assess and adjust. Hey, I heard this. Somebody told me this yesterday, and I'm probably going to write it down to where I see it every day, because it got me thinking. It said it's better to be. Let me know what you think about it. It's better to be an inch deep and an inch wide and a mile deep than a mile wide and an inch deep.
So it's better to be an inch wide and a mile deep. Than to be a mile wide and an inch deep.
Yeah.
So elaborate a little bit. Give me.
So basically, when I heard it, I thought about like water. Water goes just anywhere. It has no. There's no.
You can't control it. There's no boundaries when.
Right.
Okay.
So to be just an inch deep, so like a jack of all trades, right?
Yeah.
Like I know how to do a little bit of everything, but I really don't have no substance to me to where I'm like a master of one thing.
I mean, is it bad?
I wouldn't say it's bad, but like you're great at bench pressing, right?
Yeah.
You may not be so great at what's something else? What's the thing where you pull it from the ground?
Deadlift.
You may not be so great at deadlift, right?
Yeah, but if I work at it with consistency and discipline.
Yeah, but when you work at that, you're taking away from what you're really called to do.
It depends. No, I mean, like really, like if you do it right, then you can do both.
Yeah.
So you get what I'm saying? So like, but I want to help you with that though. The quote that you say, most people forget to add on the rest.
Yeah.
Right. It says,
"Oh, you're talking about the jack of all trades."
Yeah, the phrase is, "A jack of all trades is a master of none, but sometimes it's better than a master of one."
Yeah.
A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. One more time. A jack of all trades is a master of one.
What?
Hold on. Then you got it all.
Yeah, I think you.
I was in my zone.
Time.
A jack of all trades is a master of. Yeah, that's what it says. It's a master of none.
None, right?
A jack of all trades is a master of none.
But oftentimes
better than a master of one.
I don't know.
Let's see. Let's get a breakdown. Okay, so what do you guys think? See what the comments are saying.
Man, Michael Pendleton's on there.
So basically, it's saying a person who is a jack of all trades is better. It's oftentimes better
than a master of
one. So, for example, Rob, if we're on I'm not saying we're not saying that just because you're a jack of all trades doesn't mean you're not good at what you do. You could be good at a lot of things.
Yeah,
but you might not be a master.
But are you great at it?
But good, great. I mean,
there's a difference.
There is a difference, but I'm saying like still, I'd rather be on the good, great side than average or less than average.
Yeah.
I mean, does that make sense though? Like, for example, on a job site, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have a person who's a jack of all trades who knows what they're doing than a person who just knows one thing and that's it. That's all.
Yeah, but the person the person that you're talking about that knows how to do all things, they're only average in doing all things. They're not going to come in and be great and specialize in just one area that you need done.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tough.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're going to get average across the board as opposed to.
But who says a jack? You're a jack of a trade. So if you're a jack,
what it is you know how to do a little bit of everything, right? So you know how to do a little bit of plumbing, a little bit of electrical, but that little bit of electrical might cause a fire when you're laying in bed at night because you're just because you've wired up a CD player before.
I think you're taking it a little too deep, bro.
No, that's what it is. It's a jack of all trades. I've messed around with a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? I know how to put a windshield in, but it ain't putting a windshield in right.
All right, for example, one of the guys we got working for us, he's a jack of all trades.
That's right.
He's a jack of all trades.
Yeah. So whenever it comes to something specialized, and let's say that it's drywall finishing, you don't want somebody like that doing drywall finishing. He is not an expert in doing drywall finishing.
But if he's a jack of it, then
he can. That doesn't mean that he can't do it, but that shouldn't be his job, right? Like you gotta be specific in what you're good at, right? I know what I'm good at.
If they can do it right, then that's all we're concerned about.
Doing it right. That's the thing. Look, are they going to be able to do it right? And how much time is it going to take to do it right?
If you're one of those guys and you're a jack of all trades and you can do it right.
But even like this, I may know how to do certain things, but do I do them well? So what I think it is what most people should do, including myself, is what are you good at? Hone in on that and do just that. Don't try to do anything else. First and foremost, what are you looking up?
I'm sending this quote to a client.
Do what God has called you to do. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that you can't do anything else, right? But whenever you mesh with what God's will is for your life, something happens. Something supernatural happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just heard it, man, and I've been thinking about it, and it really has me thinking of man, just do what you are called to do. Absolutely. And do it well. You know what I mean? Yeah, Of course, you can go do a bunch of different things. Of course, you can, if I wanted to wake up tomorrow and start a lawn mowing business, you know what I mean? I could do that. But does that mean that I'll be great at it? Right? Yeah. Because I've learned over time that, what you say yes to, you're saying no to a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
So anything that you do is going to take time. So you're dedicating your time to something that you could be doing what you're called to do. And that's the perfect situation with Nick. That's why I truly believe Nick should not go out and do anything else. He's called to shepherd. He's called to preach the word of God. He should spend his time devoted to that. That doesn't mean that he can't go out and do other things.
Yeah.
But is he going to be great at those things?
Yeah, I think it depends on that person, on the individual. At the end of the day, I can paint. I'm not a master painter,
right?
But I can paint, and you won't be able to tell a difference from a master painter compared to Rob. I'm telling you, I'm that good at painting.
We're gonna have to try it all out.
I'm that good, but that's not what I enjoy doing. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know it's not my thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying, but I think, a lot of times I'd rather have a jack of all trades. I'd rather have that guy.
So the quote, this is George Michael's quote of the day. He says that good leadership leads by power of examples, not examples of the power. And we don't know what that means. We'll find out one day.
No, listen. Good leadership leads by power of examples, not examples of power. So a lot of people in leadership, they try to use their power. They try to use their power to win the people over.
Man.
But not how you win the people over
is by leading.
By leading and doing the hard stuff and the innocuous stuff that people don't normally do.
Hey,
the small, tedious stuff.
That's a perfect thing of what we was talking about before we started. You will know them not by their words, but by their actions.
Absolutely.
What do people see you do? You know what I'm saying? It's easy to sit back and talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's easy to sit back and critique. It's easy for the people and the fans. You see it all the time at any sports game. Man, it's easy for them to say what they should have done. Absolutely. If you ain't on the field playing, I don't know how much critiquing you should be doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you ain't getting in and getting dirty.
Michael Pennington got time on his hands.
Man, Man, what's
We
up,
got
George
time
Michael?
today.
George Michael got a quote of the week every
Man,
week.
he killed it. We
Yeah.
appreciate that. That's a good one. We're gonna
Yeah.
close out on you guys with that one.
Yeah.
By George Pendleton. We got good leadership leads by power of examples, not examples of power.
Shout out to George.
All right, so guys, let's lead by example.
Yeah.
And let's do the small things, man, on a consistent basis. That's gonna get us to where we need to go. We love you guys. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Trust the process.